This video is about solving equations for higher GCSE pupils. Right, in this first equation we notice that we've got letters and brackets on both sides. So what we need to do, we need to first of all expand both brackets. So times everything in that first bracket by 3 gives me that, and multiplying everything in the second bracket by 2 gives me that. Now, we have x's on both sides. And what we do, we take the smaller of the two x's, and in this case, it's the 2x. So to get we must get rid of that. So we subtract 2x off both sides. And that gives me 7x minus 51 equals minus 2. Now the next bit now, we would add 51 to both sides. And that will give me 7x equals 49, and then 7 sevens make 49. Right, we're going to look at two more examples so that you have a good idea of how to complete the questions that you'll see in a few minutes. Right, in this second question, the obvious problem is that denominator. That 2 is underneath, so it's a denominator. So what we need to do, we need to multiply both sides by 2. Now the reason we do that is that that denominator will cancel with that numerator. So that becomes minus 34 on the left equals 5 lots of 4 minus 3x. Now that we've got rid of that denominator, let's expand this bracket. So 20 minus 15x equals minus 34. And just like the previous question, we're going to now subtract 20 off both sides, and that will allow that bit to cancel. Now be careful with your negative numbers here. Minus 34 take away another 20 is minus 54 equals minus 15x. Now you'll notice that we've got negatives equaling a negative on opposite sides. So what we can do in maths, we can cancel those out. In effect, we multiply both sides by minus 1, and we get 54 equals 15x. And now we would divide both sides by 15, and that would allow us to cancel the coefficient of 15 in front of the x, like so. And you can see that we're left with a top-heavy fraction where x is equal to 54 over 15. And we would look for any simplification, but there is some simplification. I was about to say there wasn't. 3 times table. Well, 3 goes into that 18 times, and 3 goes into that 5 times. So there's your top-heavy fraction of 18 over 5. And the final question, we've got some really nasty looking fractions. So we need to get rid of these in one go. I've got a half there on the left side, and we've got a third on the right side. Now the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. So if I times everything by 6, and I mean everything on both sides, so I've got to times that by 6, that by 6, and that by 6, then I will be able to get rid of the denominators. So watch. That first fraction becomes 6 over 2, lots of x plus 8, 12x plus 6 over 3 lots of 4x minus 5. Well, you might say, well, I've still got my denominators. Well, remember, 6 over 2 is actually 3, and 6 over 3 is actually 2. So multiplying this first bracket by 3, I get 3x plus 24 equals the 12x plus, now I've got to multiply the whole of this second bracket by 2, so that's 8x minus 10. So I now, just like the first example, I've got to deal with the x's on both sides. I've got 3x on the left and 8x on the right. So we'll deal with the smaller x, and this just avoids negative x values. So I'll subtract 3x from both sides, and that gives me, they cancel, so that 24 on the left equals 12x minus 3x. Sorry, a mistake there. The bit that I've slightly overlooked here was that I could have collected like terms here. So I've actually got, let's take that out, 12x plus the 8x, take away the 3x, is 17x minus 10. And then finally, let's add 10 to both sides. And we're left with 34 equals 17x. And 17 goes into 34 twice. Okay, there are your 3 examples. Do remember that I could have just made that a little bit better around this region here by collecting like terms earlier. Let's look at the questions now. They'll stay on for about 10 seconds. You need to press pause on your video now, and then when you've finished them, or at any point, you can move ahead to the answers that will appear in a few seconds. And here are the answers, and I hope you've been successful at it, and that ends the video.